The morning sun cast long shadows between the skyscrapers as Lily walked toward the gleaming Westmore Tower. Her hands trembled slightly as she checked her watch, 30 minutes early for her job interview. Perfect. Being late would have been the worst first impression. Lily smoothed down her simple blue blouse. Bought 3 years ago during a sale at a department store. She'd ironed it carefully last night, making sure every wrinkle was gone. Her black slacks weren't fancy, but they were clean and professional. The scuffed portfolio she carried contained her resume, references, and samples of her administrative work, evidence of her capabilities despite lacking a college degree. She paused at the massive glass entrance, taking a deep breath. The administrative assistant position on the 47th floor was a chance to finally earn enough to help with her mother's medical bills. After being laid off from her previous job when the company downsized, she'd spent 2 months sending out applications while picking up night shifts at a 24-hour diner. The security guard nodded as she explained about her interview. He checked his list, found her name, and handed her a visitor's badge. "Elevator bank is to your right," he said with a kind smile that eased her nerves slightly. The lobby gleamed with marble floors so polished she could almost see her reflection. Well-dressed business people strode purposefully, exuding confidence that Lily wished she could bottle and drink. She clutched her portfolio tighter, following the signs to the elevators. When the doors opened, she hesitated for a split second. 4 women stood inside, dressed in outfits that probably cost more than her rent. The tallest one wore a cream-colored designer suit with a silk scarf draped artfully around her neck. Another had on a deep burgundy dress with a diamond bracelet catching the light. The third sported a tailored pantsuit and designer heels, while the fourth was dressed in a floral dress with pearls adorning her neck and ears. Lily stepped inside, offering a polite smile as she reached for the button panel. "Excuse me," she said softly, pressing 47. The woman in the cream suit, Diane as Lily would later learn, raised a perfectly shaped eyebrow. 47? "That's executive offices. I have an interview," Lily explained, trying to keep her voice steady. The women exchanged glances. The one in the burgundy dress, Patricia, looked Lily up and down, taking in her simple clothes and worn shoes. "An interview? For what position?" Diane asked, her tone suggesting she already had ideas. "Administrative assistant," Lily answered, wishing the elevator would move faster. She noticed the women were headed to floor 35 according to the illuminated button. "Oh." The single syllable contained volumes of judgment. "I see." The elevator began its ascent, and Lily focused on the changing floor numbers, avoiding eye contact. The silence lasted only seconds before it was broken. "Did you see what Jennifer wore to the club yesterday?" Gwen, the woman in the pantsuit, asked loudly, clearly changing the subject for Lily's benefit. "Absolutely dreadful," Heather, the pearl-wearing woman, replied with a dramatic sigh. "Some people simply don't understand that money can't buy taste." "Well, I suppose it can if you know where to shop." Lily kept her eyes forward, but she felt the sideways glances, the subtle shifts as the women created more space between themselves and her. "Speaking of which," Patricia said, lowering her voice to a stage whisper clearly meant to be overheard, "security in this building isn't what it used to be. All sorts coming in these days." Lily's cheeks burned. Her mother had always taught her to hold her head high no matter what, but right now, all she wanted was to disappear. "Maybe she's applying for the cleaning staff," Diane suggested with a smirk, not bothering to lower her voice, though even they have uniforms. The women tittered with laughter, as if Diane had said something incredibly witty. Lily's fingers tightened around her portfolio. Inside were performance reviews from her previous job. Exceptional attention to detail, professional demeanor, consistently exceeds expectations. None of that mattered in this elevator. Here she was being judged solely on her appearance, on clothes she couldn't afford to upgrade. "I hear they're revamping the entire 47th floor," Heather commented, touching her pearls. "Probably need someone to empty the trash bins during construction." More laughter, sharper this time. "Excuse me," Lily said, her voice quiet but firm as she moved slightly to make space for a businessman who entered on the 15th floor. He stood between Lily and the group of women, providing a momentary shield. Diane turned to her friend, speaking just loud enough for Lily to hear. "My housekeeper's daughter wanted to apply here too. I had to explain that some places have standards." The businessman exited on floor 20, leaving Lily exposed once again. "Did you see her bag?" Patricia whispered loudly. Is that pleather? Lily glanced down at her faux leather portfolio. It had been a gift from her previous boss when she was promoted to senior admin. The corner was slightly frayed, but she'd been so proud of it. I bet she found her outfit at a thrift shop, Gwen added with a smirk. That blouse has definitely seen better days. Lily swallowed hard. The blouse had been bought new, but after dozens of washes it had lost some of its color. She didn't have the luxury of an extensive wardrobe. The elevator stopped on floor 25 and a maintenance worker entered, nodding politely to everyone. The women immediately fell silent, shooting each other knowing looks. Lily checked the floor indicator again. Just 10 more floors until the women would exit. She could make it. Her interview wasn't for another 20 minutes. She'd have time to compose herself, to wash her face and regain her confidence. Are you ladies heading to the charity luncheon? The maintenance man asked conversationally. Yes, we are, Diane replied, her voice suddenly warm and friendly. It's for underprivileged women in business. The irony wasn't lost on Lily, who had to bite her lip to keep from laughing bitterly. That's mighty kind of you, the man said as he exited on floor 30. As soon as the doors closed, Heather pulled out her phone. This is too good, she whispered, angling the device toward Lily. With horror, Lily realized she was being photographed. Excuse me, she said, turning away. For our People of Westmore Tower group, Heather explained to her friends. Under things that don't belong. The women broke into laughter again, not even trying to hide their cruelty. Floor 35 couldn't come fast enough. When the elevator finally stopped and the doors opened, Lily felt like she could breathe again. Enjoy your interview, Diane said with mock sweetness as she exited. Don't get your hopes up, though. This building has a certain image to maintain. The women's laughter echoed as they walked away, leaving Lily alone in the elevator for the remaining 12 floors. She leaned against the wall, finally allowing herself to take a deep breath. Her hands were shaking, and she realized she'd been gripping her portfolio so tightly that her knuckles had turned white. A single tear escaped, which she quickly wiped away. She couldn't afford to show up to her interview with red eyes. There was too much riding on this job. Her mother's treatment, the rent on their small apartment, the mounting credit card debt from buying groceries when her unemployment checks weren't enough. What Lily didn't know was that a security camera in the corner of the elevator had captured the entire exchange. And she couldn't have guessed that the head of security, watching the monitors and seeing the women's behavior, had picked up his phone to call a friend. As the elevator continued upward, Lily straightened her blouse, checked her reflection in the polished elevator doors, and forced her breathing to steady. The women's words stung, but she wouldn't let them derail this opportunity. She thought of her mother, who had worked 2 jobs to raise her after her father left, who had never let hardship crush her spirit. The elevator chimed as it reached the 47th floor. Lily stepped out, her chin slightly higher than when she'd entered the building. The elegant reception area of the executive floor spread before her, and a friendly-looking receptionist smiled as she approached. I'm here for the administrative assistant interview, Lily said, her voice stronger than she expected. Of course, the receptionist replied warmly. They're looking forward to meeting you. Lily had no idea that her life was about to change dramatically, or that the elevator ride she'd just endured would soon have an unexpected sequel. Lily sat in the waiting area, trying to compose herself. The receptionist had offered her a glass of water, which she accepted gratefully. Her hand still trembled slightly as she sipped it, the humiliating elevator ride replaying in her mind. Ms. Chen, a woman in her 40s with kind eyes and a professional demeanor, appeared. I'm Rita, head of human resources. We're ready for you now. Lily stood, smoothing her slacks one last time. Thank you for the opportunity, she said, following Rita down a hallway lined with modern art. Have you worked in the financial sector before? Rita asked conversationally. Not directly, Lily admitted. I was at Greenfield Publishing for 5 years, handling administrative duties for their accounting department. Rita nodded. Different industry, similar skills. Don't worry. We value adaptability here. They entered a bright conference room with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. 2 other interviewers waited. A middle-aged man introduced as Dave from operations and a younger woman named Beth from the executive team. Please have a seat, Rita said, gesturing to the chair facing them. Lily took a deep breath, placed her portfolio on the table and opened it to reveal her neatly organized materials. The elevator incident still stung, but as she began answering questions about her experience and skills, her confidence gradually returned. "Your reference from your previous supervisor is quite impressive," Dave noted. Reviewing her papers, "Jane was an excellent mentor," Lily said. "She taught me the importance of anticipating needs before they're expressed." The interview progressed smoothly. Lily explained her organizational systems, her experience handling sensitive information, and her ability to juggle multiple priorities. When asked about challenges she'd faced, she carefully avoided mentioning what had happened just 20 minutes earlier. "Why do you want to work at Westmore Financial specifically?" Beth asked. The standard question Lily had prepared for. "Your company's commitment to community development programs aligns with my personal values," Lily answered. "I researched the scholarship initiative for first-generation college students and it resonated with me. I would be proud to support an organization with such values, even in an administrative role." The interviewers exchanged pleased glances. "One last question," Rita said. "This position reports directly to our COO. The previous assistant retired after 15 years. How comfortable are you stepping into a role with such big shoes to fill?" Lily considered this. "I believe in respecting established systems while finding ways to improve efficiency. I'd hope to learn what worked well for my predecessor while bringing fresh perspectives when helpful." Rita smiled. "Well said. Do you have any questions for us?" Lily asked about daily responsibilities, company culture, and growth opportunities. By the time the interview concluded, the elevator incident had faded to the background of her mind. "Thank you for coming in today," Rita said, walking her back to the reception area. "We'll be in touch within the week." Lily thanked them and headed toward the elevator, then hesitated. The thought of encountering those women again made her stomach clench. She spotted a door marked "Stairs" and made her decision. "Actually, I think I'll take the stairs down a few floors," she told the receptionist with a smile. "It's good exercise." The receptionist looked surprised. Walking down from the 47th floor wasn't a common choice, but nodded pleasantly. Lily pushed through the door into the stairwell. The concrete steps echoed with her footsteps as she descended. Her interview pumps not exactly made for this many stairs. After 10 floors, her calves burning, she decided to risk the elevator for the remaining journey. Meanwhile, on the 35th floor, the charity luncheon for Women Empowering Women was in full swing. Round tables draped in white linen filled the ballroom, each centered with an elaborate floral arrangement. Waitstaff in black and white uniforms circulated with trays of champagne. Diane, Patricia, Gwen, and Heather sat at a table near the front, their earlier elevator behavior completely at odds with the event's mission of supporting underprivileged women in business. "The silent auction items this year are simply divine," Patricia said, flipping through the glossy catalog. "I've got my eye on that weekend getaway to the Hamptons." Diane sipped her champagne. "Did you see who just arrived?" "Allison from the board of Hudson Bank. Her outfit is straight off the clearance rack." The women snickered, their critical eyes now turned on someone else. "Oh, I almost forgot," Heather exclaimed, pulling out her phone. "Let me show you the photo I took in the elevator." The women leaned in as Heather pulled up the picture of Lily, caught in an unguarded moment of discomfort. "Look at those shoes." Gwen laughed. "I had a pair like that in high school. And that blouse," Patricia added. "It's practically threadbare." "Can you imagine if she actually got hired?" Diane said. "Gregory would have a fit if someone like that represented his executive floor." They laughed loudly, drawing glances from nearby tables. A few seats away, a man in a perfectly tailored charcoal suit looked up from his conversation. James Westmore, the founder and CEO of Westmore Financial Group, had caught fragments of their conversation. James was not one who typically attended these luncheons, but his wife Claire, who chaired the foundation, had insisted he make an appearance. Now his attention was drawn to the 4 women whose laughter seemed incongruent with the event's purpose. "She actually thought she had a chance," Heather was saying, showing the photo to someone at the adjacent table, as if Gregory would hire someone who clearly shops at discount stores. James frowned slightly. Gregory Nielsen was his COO and a close friend. He knew Gregory was interviewing candidates today for his administrative assistant position, a role that Gregory considered crucial to the company's operations. His phone vibrated in his pocket. Glancing down, he saw a message from Roy, head of building security and an old college friend. You might want to see this. Cameras caught something in elevator 3 this morning. Attached was a video file. James excused himself and stepped into the hallway to watch it. The security footage was clear. He recognized the 4 women immediately. All wives of business associates and regular attendees at foundation events. He watched as Lily entered the elevator, her discomfort growing as the women began their subtle and then increasingly obvious mockery. James's expression darkened as he watched the entire exchange, including Heather taking the photo. His jaw tightened when he heard Diane's parting shot about the building's image. By the time the video ended, he had already formulated a plan. Returning to the luncheon, he took a seat at a different table, observing the 4 women from a distance. They were now gathered around the silent auction display, exclaiming over luxury items while the speakers discussed programs to help women from disadvantaged backgrounds enter the corporate world. James sent a text to Gregory. How did the interviews go today? The response came quickly. One standout, Chen, excellent qualifications, professional demeanor. My top choice, James smiled slightly. Send me her file, he replied. Back in her small apartment, Lily kicked off her shoes with relief. The interview had gone well, much better than the elevator ride, but she tried not to get her hopes up. Companies like Westmore Financial probably had dozens of qualified applicants. She changed into comfortable clothes and made a cup of tea, settling at her tiny kitchen table to call her mother. How did it go, honey? Her mother asked, her voice tired but warm. The interview went really well, Lily said, deciding not to mention the incident beforehand. The HR director seemed impressed with my experience. Of course she was, her mother said loyally. You're the most organized person I know. They chatted about her mother's doctor appointment scheduled for the following week. The medical bills were piling up, making this potential job all the more important. After hanging up, Lily opened her laptop to send thank you emails to her interviewers. She crafted a careful message expressing gratitude for their time and reiterating her interest in the position. As she hit send, Lily tried to push away thoughts of the women in the elevator. Their cruelty had been shocking, but she refused to let them occupy any more space in her mind. She had done her best in the interview. That was what mattered. She had no idea that across town James Westmore was reviewing her resume and the security footage side by side. She couldn't know that he had reached out to her former employer for additional references, or that he was drafting an email to Rita in HR with very specific instructions. Nor could she have guessed that 3 days later, her phone would ring with a job offer that would change her life and set the stage for a reunion she never expected. The women who had mocked her would soon learn a valuable lesson about judging people based on appearances. And Lily, who had endured their cruelty with quiet dignity, would soon have the opportunity to show what true class looked like. 3 days passed with no word from Westmore Financial. Lily tried to keep her hopes in check as she served coffee to the late-night customers at Rosie's Diner, where she'd picked up shifts to make ends meet. Her feet ached from standing for 8 hours, but she smiled warmly as she refilled an elderly man's cup. You look tired. Dear, the man observed, sliding an extra $1 into the tip jar. Just a long day, Lily replied, tucking a stray hair back into her ponytail. How's your meatloaf? Best in town, he assured her. The same answer he gave every Thursday night. The bell above the door jingled as a new customer entered, and Lily grabbed a menu, her customer service smile firmly in place despite her exhaustion. By the time she got home to her apartment, it was nearly midnight. She kicked off her shoes and checked her phone, which she'd left charging on the kitchen counter. 3 missed calls from an unknown number, and 1 voicemail. Lily's heart raced as she played the message. Hello, Ms. Chen. This is Rita Jenkins from Westmore Financial Group. I'm calling with good news about your application. Please call me back at your earliest convenience, even if it's after business hours. Lily stared at her phone. Call back now? It was way too late, but the message said, even if it's after business hours. Her fingers hovered over the callback button. Taking a deep breath, she pressed it. Rita answered on the second ring. Ms. Chen, thank you for returning my call. I hope it's not too late, Lily said, suddenly conscious of her diner uniform and the lingering smell of French fries in her hair. Not at all. I told my husband I might be on a late call tonight. Rita sounded cheerful, not at all bothered by the hour. I'm pleased to tell you that we'd like to offer you the position of Executive Administrative Assistant. Lily sank onto her worn couch, her legs suddenly weak. That's wonderful news. There's more, Rita continued. The position has been reclassified. You would be reporting directly to Mr. Westmore as well as Mr. Nielsen. Lily's breath caught. James Westmore was the founder and CEO of the company, a billionaire whose photo often appeared in business magazines. Why would he want her reporting to him? The salary will be $85,000 annually, with full benefits starting immediately, and a signing bonus of $10,000. Lily nearly dropped the phone. The salary was more than double what she'd expected. That's very generous, she managed to say, her mind reeling. We value talent, Miss Chen. Your references were impeccable, and both Mr. Nielsen and Mr. Westmore were very impressed with your interview and experience. Rita paused. Can you start on Monday? Monday, 4 days away. Yes, absolutely, Lily said, already calculating how to give notice at the diner. Excellent. I'll email you the details tonight. We look forward to having you join our team. After hanging up, Lily sat motionless on her couch, staring at the water stain on her ceiling. $85,000 a year. The signing bonus alone would cover her mother's medical bills. It didn't seem real. She called her mother despite the late hour. Mom, I got the job, she said when her mother answered groggily. Oh, honey, that's wonderful, her mother replied, instantly sounding more awake. When do you start? Monday. And Mom, the salary, it's amazing. I can help with your treatments now. Her mother began to cry softly. I'm so proud of you, Lily. You've worked so hard. After they hung up, Lily opened her laptop to check the email from Rita. There it was, the official offer letter with all the details laid out, even more impressive in writing. She signed the document electronically, still half convinced she was dreaming. Meanwhile, across town in a penthouse apartment overlooking the city, James Westmore was having a late dinner with his wife, Anna. You seem pleased with yourself, Anna observed, noting his slight smile as he checked his phone. She accepted the offer, he replied, setting his phone aside. The new assistant? Anna asked, taking a sip of wine. The one from the elevator? James nodded. He'd shown Anna the security footage, knowing she would be as disturbed by it as he was. Anna served on several charitable boards dedicated to women's empowerment, and such behavior was anathema to her values. Those women have no idea what's coming, do they? Anna asked, a hint of satisfaction in her voice. None at all. Diane Harrington's husband sits on our board. Patricia Lowell's husband manages one of our investment portfolios. They're all connected to Westmore in some way or another. And they mocked that poor woman without knowing who she was or who might be watching. Anna shook her head. Sometimes I think money makes people forget basic human decency. James reached across the table to take her hand. Not everyone. You never have, Anna squeezed his hand. What exactly are you planning, James? Justice, he replied simply. But the elegant kind, the kind that teaches a lesson without creating unnecessary drama for the company. In her upscale townhouse, Diane Harrington was having a very different evening. She scrolled through social media on her tablet, pausing at Heather's post in their private group. The photo of Lily in the elevator had been shared with a mocking caption about elevator encounters with the help. Diane chuckled and showed her husband, Thomas, who barely glanced up from his financial reports. Very funny, dear, he murmured, clearly not paying attention. You're not looking, she complained. Thomas sighed and set down his papers. Diane, perhaps you shouldn't post photos of strangers online. It seems unkind. Diane rolled her eyes. It's a private group. And anyway, it was just a bit of fun. You should have seen her outfit, completely out of place in Westmore Tower. Westmore Tower? Thomas looked up sharply. When was this? Yesterday on our way to the charity luncheon. Why? Thomas frowned. Because James Westmore is extremely particular about how people are treated in his building. I've seen him fire an executive for speaking rudely to a janitor. Diane waved a dismissive hand. It's not like he knows who I am or would ever see our private posts. Thomas returned to his reports, but a small worry line remained between his brows. Just be careful, Diane. The financial world is smaller than you think. The next few days passed in a blur for Lily. She gave notice at the diner, went shopping for new work clothes with her mother, and prepared for her first day at Westmore Financial. With the signing bonus already deposited in her account, Lily was able to buy several professional outfits that made her feel confident. Nothing extravagant or designer, but well-made pieces that fit properly and looked appropriate for an executive floor. Sunday night, she laid out her new navy blue suit with a light blue blouse, modest heels, and a real leather portfolio she'd purchased to replace the worn one. Her mother had insisted on buying her a delicate silver necklace as a congratulatory gift. For luck, she said, fastening it around Lily's neck. Lily touched it gently. I can't believe this is happening. Believe it, her mother said firmly. You earned this job with your skills and experience. Don't let anyone make you think otherwise. Monday morning arrived with perfect weather, as if even the heavens were celebrating Lily's good fortune. She arrived at Westmore Tower 30 minutes early, just as she had for her interview, but this time with a different feeling in her stomach, excitement rather than nervousness. As she approached the building, Lily took a deep breath and squared her shoulders. She was no longer an unemployed woman desperate for a job. She was the new executive administrative assistant to the COO and CEO of Westmore Financial Group. The same security guard recognized her and smiled. Good morning, Ms. Chen. Congratulations on the new position. Thank you, Lily replied. Surprised he remembered her. Mr. Nielsen's assistant for 15 years was a good friend of mine, he explained, handing her a permanent ID badge. Big shoes to fill, but Rita says you're up to the task. Lily clipped the badge to her jacket, the plastic rectangle a tangible symbol of her new status. I'll do my best. She walked toward the elevators with a confidence she hadn't felt during her interview visit. As the doors opened on the ground floor, her stomach tightened momentarily at the memory of her last elevator ride. This time, however, the elevator was empty. Lily stepped in and pressed 47, watching the doors close on the lobby and her old life. She was rising now in more ways than one. What she didn't know was that on the 35th floor, Diane, Patricia, Gwen, and Heather were gathering for their weekly breakfast meeting before their Pilates class, and that later that day, a carefully orchestrated encounter would change everything. Lily's first day at Westmore Financial moved at lightning speed. Rita met her at the executive floor reception area and whisked her through a series of introductions, system setups, and orientation meetings. By lunchtime, Lily's head was swimming with new faces and information. Don't worry about remembering everything today, Rita assured her as they walked back to Lily's new desk, a beautiful workstation of polished cherry wood positioned strategically between Gregory Nielsen's office and a larger corner office that belonged to James Westmore himself. Mr. Westmore is out of town until tomorrow, but Mr. Nielsen wants to meet with you at 2 o'clock, Rita explained, handing Lily a sleek company tablet. All your meetings and tasks will appear here. The previous assistant set up an excellent system. Lily nodded, running her fingers along the edge of her new desk. The chair was ergonomic and comfortable, the computer top of the line. A small welcome basket sat beside the monitor with gourmet chocolates, high-end stationery, and a card signed by the executive team. Thank you for everything, Lily told Rita. I know I have big shoes to fill. Rita smiled kindly. Just be yourself. That's who we hired. After Rita left, Lily took a moment to absorb her surroundings. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered a breathtaking view of the city. The executive floor hummed with quiet efficiency, phones ringing softly, well-dressed professionals walking purposefully down hallways. The gentle clicking of keyboards. Her phone rang, startling her from her thoughts. Executive Office, Lily Chen speaking, she answered, the words feeling strange on her tongue. Ms. Chen, this is Gregory Nielsen. Could you come into my office for a moment? Right away, sir, Lily replied, smoothing her skirt as she stood. Gregory Nielsen was a tall man with salt and pepper hair and intelligent eyes. He greeted Lily with a firm handshake and gestured for her to take a seat. Welcome to the team, he said. I see Rita has been showing you the ropes. Yes, sir. Everyone has been very helpful. Gregory leaned forward, resting his elbows on his desk. I'll be direct, Ms. Chen. This position is crucial to the functioning of our executive floor. My previous assistant, Dorothy, managed everything from my impossible schedule to my daughter's birthday presents when I forgot. I need someone I can rely on completely. Lily nodded. I understand the responsibility, sir. Good. Gregory handed her a folder. These are the projects I'm currently overseeing. Familiarize yourself with them by tomorrow morning. And one more thing. Mr. Westmore specifically requested that you attend the foundation fundraiser this Friday night. Lily blinked in surprise. The fundraiser? Annual event for the Westmore Foundation. Black tie, very high profile. All the company executives attend along with our major clients and partners. He raised an eyebrow. Unusual for a new hire to be invited, but Mr. Westmore was quite clear about it. Lily left Gregory's office with the folder clutched to her chest and questions swirling in her mind. Why would the CEO want her at such an important event? She barely knew how to work the phone system yet. The rest of the day passed in a blur of training sessions and introductions. By 5 o'clock, when most of the staff began to leave, Lily remained at her desk, determined to review all of Gregory's projects before morning. First day going well? Lily looked up to find a friendly-faced young man in a well-tailored suit standing by her desk. "I'm Peter from legal," he said, extending his hand. "You must be Lily." "Yes, it's my first day," she confirmed, shaking his hand. "A bunch of us usually grab dinner at the bistro across the street on Mondays." "Want to join?" Lily hesitated, glancing at the stack of material she needed to review. Peter noticed her look. "Gregory's project dump, huh? It can wait till tomorrow. He does that to all the new hires. It's a test to see if you'll panic." Lily laughed, surprised at how perceptive Peter was. "In that case, dinner sounds great." The bistro was upscale but welcoming, with warm lighting and delicious smells wafting from the kitchen. Peter introduced Lily to 5 other young professionals from different departments. They welcomed her warmly, offering tips about office politics and the best places to grab coffee near the tower. "So how did you land the executive assistant gig?" asked Mia from marketing. "That position is like gold around here." Lily shrugged modestly. "I honestly don't know. I just gave the best interview I could." "Well, you must have impressed someone important," Peter remarked. "Word is that Westmore himself signed off on your hiring." Lily was about to respond when the restaurant door opened, letting in a burst of cool evening air and 4 well-dressed women. Lily's stomach dropped as she recognized them immediately. Diane, Patricia, Gwen, and Heather, the women from the elevator. They didn't notice her at first, busy handing their designer coats to the host and commenting on the restaurant's recent renovation. Lily shrank slightly in her seat, hoping they wouldn't look her way. "You okay?" Peter asked, noticing her sudden discomfort. "Fine," Lily said quickly, taking a large sip of her water. But fate wasn't on her side. The host led the 4 women to a table directly across from their group. As they settled in, Heather glanced over and did a visible double-take. "Isn't that—" she began, nudging Patricia beside her. Lily saw the moment of recognition cross each woman's face in turn. Diane's perfectly shaped eyebrows rose nearly to her hairline. "Ignore them," Lily whispered to herself, turning her attention back to her new colleague's conversation about an upcoming project deadline. But moments later, a shadow fell across their table. Lily looked up to find Diane standing there, her expression a practiced mask of politeness. "I'm sorry to interrupt," Diane said smoothly, addressing the whole table but looking at Lily. "I just wanted to say hello. I believe we met in the elevator at Westmore Tower recently." Lily nodded stiffly. "Yes, I remember." Mia looked between them curiously. "You two know each other?" "Not really," Lily replied, wanting nothing more than for this encounter to end. "I didn't catch your name before." Diane persisted with a tight smile. "Lily Chen. And you work at Westmore?" Diane's tone suggested she found this hard to believe, despite Lily's professional attire. Peter jumped in. "Lily's the new executive assistant to Gregory Nielsen and James Westmore." The color drained from Diane's face so quickly that Lily almost felt sorry for her. "Almost. See, Diane managed. How nice." By now, the other 3 women had gathered behind Diane, their expressions ranging from shock to discomfort. "Congratulations on the position," Patricia said stiffly. "Thank you," Lily replied, keeping her voice neutral and professional. An uncomfortable silence followed until Peter, sensing the tension, cheerfully asked, "Can we help you ladies with something else?" "No, just saying hello," Diane replied, regaining some of her composure. "Enjoy your dinner." As they retreated to their table, Lily could see them huddling together, whispering urgently and casting nervous glances in her direction. "What was that about?" Mia asked once they were out of earshot. Lily shook her head. Nothing important. The dinner continued, but Lily could feel the women watching her throughout the meal. She kept her back straight and participated in the conversation, determined not to let them ruin her evening. When the check arrived, Peter reached for it, but the server shook her head. "It's been taken care of," she said. "By whom?" Peter asked, surprised. "Mr. Westmore called earlier and arranged for the bill to be sent to him," the server explained. "He said to welcome Ms. Chen to the company." The table erupted in impressed murmurs. Lily sat stunned, aware that across the restaurant, 4 women were now staring at her with undisguised alarm. Later that evening, as Lily unlocked the door to her apartment, her phone chimed with a text message from an unknown number. "Ms. Chen, James Westmore here. I hope your first day went well. Please come to my office tomorrow at 9 a.m. before the staff meeting. There are some special projects I'd like to discuss." Lily read the message twice, her heart racing. What could the billionaire CEO possibly want to discuss with her? Across town in her elegant townhouse, Diane Harrington was frantically calling her husband. "Thomas, we have a problem," she said as soon as he answered. "Remember that girl from the elevator? She's Westmore's new executive assistant." "What girl?" Thomas asked, distracted by the late meeting he was still in. "The one Heather took a picture of. The one we—" Diane lowered her voice. "The one we made fun of. She's working directly for James Westmore now." There was a long pause before Thomas responded, his voice suddenly tense. "Delete that picture now and pray she doesn't mention the incident to him." "It's too late," Diane said miserably. "He already knows. He paid for her dinner tonight, Thomas. The whole restaurant saw it. He's sending a message." In the penthouse of Westmore Tower, James Westmore set down his phone after texting Lily. His wife Anna looked up from her book. "Did she have the encounter?" Anna asked. James nodded, a small smile playing at his lips. "According to Peter from legal, all 4 women nearly fainted on the spot. And that's just the beginning. The foundation gala is Friday," Anna mused. "Are you sure you want to go through with this?" James thought of the elevator footage, of Lily's quiet dignity in the face of cruelty. "Absolutely. Some lessons need to be taught in person." Little did any of them know just how public and unforgettable that lesson would be. The next morning, Lily arrived at work half an hour early, her stomach filled with butterflies. A meeting with James Westmore himself, on only her second day, was both an honor and terrifying. She reviewed Gregory's projects one more time, determined to appear competent if asked about them. At precisely 9 o'clock, she knocked on the imposing door of the corner office. "Come in," called a deep voice. Lily entered to find James Westmore standing by the floor-to-ceiling windows, looking out over the city he had helped build. He turned as she entered, a tall man with kind eyes that contradicted his reputation as a ruthless businessman. "Ms. Chen," he said warmly, crossing the room to shake her hand. "Please, have a seat." Lily perched on the edge of a leather chair, clutching her tablet like a lifeline. "Thank you for meeting with me, sir." James sat across from her, studying her face for a moment. "How was your first day?" "Very good, sir. Everyone has been helpful." "Everyone?" There was something in his tone that made Lily look up sharply. A knowing look crossed his face as their eyes met. In that moment, Lily realized he knew about the elevator incident. "Sir, James held up a hand. "Ms. Chen, I've been in business for 30 years. I've learned that how people behave when they think no one important is watching reveals their true character." He leaned forward. "The women who treated you poorly in that elevator are connected to this company." "Their husbands are business associates of mine." Lily's cheeks burned with embarrassment. "I didn't know. Of course not. And you handled yourself with remarkable dignity." James stood and walked to his desk, picking up a folder. "That's one reason I hired you. Character matters more than connections in my company." He handed her the folder. Inside was an invitation to the Westmore Foundation Gala, along with a credit card with her name on it. "The foundation means everything to my wife Anna and me," James explained. "The gala raises millions for educational programs for underprivileged women. I'd like you to attend as our special guest, not just as a staff member." Lily looked at the credit card in confusion. "For a dress," James clarified, "and whatever else you need. Consider it a signing bonus. But you've already been so generous, I insist. And I'd like you to bring a guest. Your mother, perhaps?" Lily's surprise must have shown on her face because James smiled. "Yes, I know about your mother's medical situation. Our benefits department is fast-tracking her enrollment in our executive family health plan. All treatments will be covered retroactively to your start date. Tears welled in Lily's eyes before she could stop them. I don't know what to say. Say nothing. Just be at the gala on Friday. James's expression turned serious. And be prepared for some attention. Those 4 women will be there with their husbands. Understanding dawned on Lily. Is that why you invited me? To make them uncomfortable? James chuckled. Partly. But mostly because people like you, people of substance and character, belong at events like this. People like them, he shrugged. They need to learn that lesson. After the meeting, Lily returned to her desk in a daze. The credit card in her purse felt like it was burning a hole in her pocket. That evening, she took her mother shopping for gala dresses. For the first time in years, they didn't look at price tags. You look like a movie star, her mother said as Lily twirled in a midnight blue gown that hugged her curves before flowing gracefully to the floor. Lily looked at herself in the mirror, hardly recognizing the confident woman who stared back. It's perfect, she decided. They bought matching clutch purses, shoes, and even delicate jewelry that complemented their outfits without being flashy. Are you nervous about seeing those women again? Her mother asked as they shared dinner at a nice restaurant. Another luxury they hadn't afforded themselves in years. Lily considered the question. Strangely, no. Mr. Westmore made me realize something. Their opinion of me doesn't matter. It never did. Friday evening arrived clear and cool. A car service picked up Lily and her mother, delivering them to the Grand Hotel where the gala was being held. Red carpet lined the entrance with photographers snapping pictures of arriving guests. Maybe we should use the side entrance, Lily's mother suggested nervously. Lily squared her shoulders. No, we're invited guests. We use the front door. They walked the carpet with dignity, ignoring the curious glances from those who didn't recognize them. Inside, the ballroom took their breath away. Crystal chandeliers, elaborate floral arrangements, and tables draped in white and gold. Ms. Chen. Lily turned to see Rita approaching with a warm smile. You look stunning, Rita said, embracing her. And this must be your mother. Introductions were made as Rita guided them through the crowd, pointing out important guests and explaining the evening's schedule. Lily tried to absorb it all while scanning the room for familiar faces. She spotted them at a table near the stage. Diane, Patricia, Gwen, and Heather, with men who must be their husbands. They hadn't noticed her yet, engrossed in conversation and champagne. Lily. She turned to find James Westmore approaching with an elegant woman on his arm. This is my wife, Anna, James said. Anna, this is Lily Chen and her mother, May. Anna clasped Lily's hands warmly. I'm so glad you could come. James has told me all about you. Before Lily could respond, a chime sounded, signaling guests to take their seats for dinner. To Lily's surprise, she and her mother were escorted to the head table with the Westmores. From across the room, 4 pairs of eyes widened in disbelief. Dinner passed pleasantly, with Lily's mother charming everyone at the table with stories of Lily's childhood determination. James spoke about the foundation's work, clearly passionate about educational opportunities for women from disadvantaged backgrounds. After the meal, James excused himself to prepare for his speech. Anna leaned over to Lily. He's been looking forward to this all week, she confided with a twinkle in her eye. The lights dimmed slightly as James took the stage. He welcomed everyone and spoke about the foundation's accomplishments over the past year. Lily listened attentively, impressed by his genuine commitment to the cause. Then his tone shifted slightly. Tonight, I want to talk about character, James said, his voice carrying throughout the ballroom, about how we treat others when we think no one important is watching. Lily's pulse quickened. At a nearby table, Diane shifted uncomfortably in her seat. Last week, a young woman entered an elevator in Westmore Tower. James continued. She was dressed simply on her way to a job interview. In that elevator were 4 women heading to a charity luncheon. Ironically, a luncheon about supporting women in business. The room had gone completely silent. Lily could see Diane's husband staring at his wife with growing alarm. These women, James went on, mocked this young woman for her appearance. They took her photo without permission. They suggested she didn't belong in my building. Murmurs spread through the crowd. Patricia's face had turned ashen. What these women didn't know was that our security cameras record everything. They didn't know that the young woman they mocked would demonstrate more poise and dignity in that moment than they showed in their entire lives. And they certainly didn't know that I would watch that footage and make immediate hiring decisions based on what I saw. James gestured toward Lily. I'd like to introduce Lily Chen, our new executive administrative assistant, who will be overseeing our foundation scholarship program in addition to her duties with Mr. Nielsen and myself. Applause broke out as spotlights found Lily. She rose gracefully, acknowledging the crowd with a modest nod. Ms. Chen was hired because of her exceptional qualifications and character, James continued. Character that was evident even when she thought no one important was watching. His gaze swept to the table where the four women sat frozen in mortification. I've always believed that true class has nothing to do with designer clothes or social status. It's about how you treat people, all people. Without naming the women directly, he had made his point crystal clear. Everyone who needed to understand did. Now, James said, his tone lightening, let's celebrate the real purpose of tonight's event, creating opportunities for women who deserve a chance to shine. The gala continued, but the four women and their husbands slipped out early, faces burning with shame. Thomas Harrington stopped briefly at Lily's table. My sincere apologies for my wife's behavior, he said stiffly before hurrying after Diane. Later, as Lily and her mother prepared to leave, James and Anna walked them to their car. You handled that beautifully, Anna told Lily. Not a hint of smugness or revenge. That wouldn't have helped anyone, Lily replied. Besides, your husband made his point, James smiled. The foundation board meets next Tuesday. I'd like you to present your ideas for the scholarship program. I'd be honored, Lily said, realizing that what had begun as a lesson for four unkind women had transformed into a genuine opportunity. As their car pulled away, Lily's mother squeezed her hand. I always taught you that who you are matters more than what you have. You did, Lily agreed, watching the hotel shrink in the distance. And tonight proved you right. Back in the hotel, the ballroom gradually emptied as the evening wound down. The event staff began clearing tables, finding at one abandoned place setting an expensive designer purse, left behind in a hasty exit. Inside was a phone with a photo gallery open to a private group called People of Westmore Tower. The most recent action, 4 deleted photos of a woman in a simple blouse and slacks, standing in an elevator, unaware that her life was about to change forever.